Hi guys, so today we will be discussing about nutrition, the various forms by which we can give the nutrition to the patients, right? Depending on the situation, whether they can take food or not. Uh, as I've already marked out here, you can see there are two types. One is parenteral nutrition, which we give by IV fluids and IV lines that you can see. One is parenteral, the thing which I am marking here, and the three on the side, the nasogastric tube, nasoduodenal tube, and nasojejunal tube. All these three forms are the enteral nutrition variants, right? So now we have understood what is parenteral type, what is enteral type. Today our discussion is mainly based on parenteral type, enteral type, right? Because this nasogastric tube, nasoduodenal tube, this nasojejunal tube all comes under enteral nutrition, and today we will discuss about the enteral nutrition only, right? Let's see. So first thing I will like to mention that enteral nutrition is always better than parenteral type. Now talking more about the enteral nutrition, because this is important from your exam point of view. Parenteral we have already discussed, like IV fluid, IV cannulas, and we will discuss further about the fluids as well. Today our topic is enteral nutrition, right? Mainly if the requirement is less than 3 weeks, that is the patient is unable to take oral nutrition, when we have to give enteral nutrition for less than 3 weeks, we will prefer nasogastric tube, right? We will prefer nasogastric tube. If the requirement is more than 3 weeks, what we will do, we will go for either we will go for feeding gastrostomy, or we can go for jejunostomy, right? Jejunostomy or feeding gastrostomy. So now there is another important question that has been asked, like how we will choose the length of the nasogastric tube. So that I want to say, for the length of the nasogastric tube, we will take the distance from the earlobe to the tip of the nose, right? Earlobe to tip of the nose, and from there tip of the nose to xiphisternum. So this distance we will keep as the length of the nasogastric tube that we have to put inside the patent nostril of the patient, right? Every word is important, every term is important. From the tip of the earlobe to the tip of the nose, from tip of the nose to the xiphisternum, this length we will insert into the patent nostril of the patient, right? And they also told the best, they also asked about the best position of insertion of the nasogastric tube. This is sitting with neck slightly flexed, correct? Sitting position with neck slightly flexed. This is your best position for insertion of nasogastric tube. This one, nasogastric tube, right? This is your length, this is your position, sitting position with neck slightly flexed. Now coming back to another question, this one, they asked about the they asked about most common complication of enteral nutrition. Very important, most common complication of enteral nutrition. So the most common complication is based on tube related complications. Tube related complication is more common as compared to osmotic diarrhea. So osmotic diarrhea eventually becomes your second most common complication, the first one being the tube related complication, right? Now we will discuss some points about total parenteral nutrition for the sake of completion. So we already discussed that total parenteral nutrition is mainly via veins or via central lines. So total parenteral nutrition best is your central line, correct? Best is your central line. For trauma, the best line is via your internal jugular vein, whereas for your nutrition purpose, the best best line is via your subclavian vein. So this all has been asked, and this is very important. Just remember this, right? And talking about the complication, we have most common this one, infection, right? Or catheter related sepsis. Each and every word is important. Infection or catheter related sepsis, right? And now I will discuss about the feeding regime. This is also important. Before I conclude this video, I will talk about the feeding regime. So feeding regime overall, most common has been asked, right? Most common complication is your overfeeding that may lead to hyperglycemia. Also there may be zinc deficiency, correct? Okay, then there is your something known as refeeding syndrome. Also has been asked, refeeding syndrome. Now refeeding syndrome, there is hypokalemia, hypophosphatemia, everything is hypo, right? Hypocalcemia, hypomagnesemia, right? And sometimes fluid overload. Now with fluid overload there is fluid overload. With fluid overload there are complications like arrhythmias and congestive heart failure. So what we have to do, so to manage refeeding syndrome, we have to so that these things doesn't occur, we have to gradually increase total parenteral nutrition dose, and thiamine supplementation have to be provided. So at once don't give all the nutrition, we have to increase it gradually so that we can avoid the feeding and refeeding complications, right? So we will revise the points once again. So we have discussed both enteral and parenteral nutrition here, with main emphasis on the enteral nutrition. So nutritions are provided based on the requirements of the patient, whether they can take their foods orally or not. So see, only when they are unable to take their foods orally, we provide the enteral or parenteral nutrition. Parenteral nutrition is mainly via your IV fluids or central lines, and enteral nutrition is your like with tubes, like nasogastric tube, nasoduodenal tube, nasojejunal tubes, like this. Now the question that I discussed first is your nasogastric tube. The measurement is taken from the earlobe to the tip of the nose, and then from tip of the nose to the xivisternum. The best position being the sitting with the neck slightly flexed. Then obviously I discussed that enteral is better than parenteral nutrition. With enteral nutrition less than 3 weeks, we go with nasogastric tube. For more than 3 weeks, we go with feeding gastrostomy or this one, jejunostomy. The most common complication of enteral nutrition being the tube-related complication, the first one, followed by osmotic diarrhea. Total parenteral nutrition, the best one is your central line. For trauma, we take the internal jugular vein. For trauma, we take the internal jugular vein. For nutrition purpose, we take the subclavian vein. The complications are mostly infection or catheter related sepsis. Feeding regime, most common complications: hyperglycemia, overfeeding or zinc deficiency. And refeeding syndrome includes your fluid overload, hypokalemia, hypophosphatemia, hypocalcemia, hypomagnesemia. So what we have to do, we have to gradually increase the total parenteral nutrition dose and give thiamine supplementation. Don't give the nutrition at once, just increase it gradually. So these are the take home points, and hope you will be benefited from this video, and we will meet in another